here. That's pretty good. All right, here goes nothing. So a few weeks ago, I'm assuming I'm using this microphone because it's plugged into my camera. I don't know, I've never used it like this. So a few weeks ago, I went to Mile High Comics, which if you didn't know is I think they advertise as the biggest comic book store in America. Basically, it's a warehouse where it's just filled with comics end to end. I got some stuff. A lot of it's actually pretty cheap stuff, but I do want to go over it and see what I got. Some of these books are actually not only from Mile High Comics, they're also from another place, which is just a thrift store in Colorado Springs. It's more like an antique store. Sometimes there's gems, sometimes there's not, but that's where some of these came from, so I'll point those out as I see them. Starting from the top here, I got this Green Lantern Blackest Night. I should actually zoom out a little. Actually, that's perfect. Green Lantern Blackest Night, number 49. And I just want to collect the whole series for Blackest Night, so that's why I picked this one up. I think this was just $1. This here is Spiderman House of M. This is issue 1 of 5, and House of M was a pretty decent series, an event altogether. And Spider-Man was one of the few that I guess had a very distinct difference from what I recall. So the cover looks cool as well. I like the Spider-Man costume in the series as well, so I picked it up. Also $1. So we got New Avengers, number 20. This one has a RTX on Magneto helmet. The reflection in this helmet is actually like a really good idea for a cover in my opinion, so I picked it up. Probably won't actually read any of it. I don't care too much for X-Men as like a character set, but I do like the cover, so for $1, why not? Next up, we got Fantastic Four. Marvel Knights, actually, Fantastic Four. This is issue number 4. I don't really care for the cover too much. I figure Marvel Knights was actually pretty cool for Moon Knight and Daredevil, and I think Spider-Man had a run on it, so why not, right? Next up, we got Ultimate X-Men. The Ultimate Comics, even the ones that are like a little bit off on the left field outside of Spider-Man, are arguably my favorite comic series, just the way like everything's like modernized. So this is Ultimate X-Men number 49. Probably won't read it, but if I can get the whole series for Ultimate X-Men, you know, that's great. That was $1 as well. Another $1 comic, this is House of M, Spider-Man number 2 of 5, so that's, you know, issue number 2 to the one that we saw earlier, and don't care too much for the cover. Next up, we got The Spectre, Tales of the Unexpected, featuring The Spectre, rather. This one has a really cool cover. The cover looks a lot to me like Mike Mignola with, you know, his Hellboy art, Baltimore art, so that's why I picked this one up. Right, this is a Batman Superman comic, number 6? Yeah, 6. The art actually kind of bothers me, if I'm being honest. I don't like how, like, I guess, like, toy-like it looks. But Batman and Superman, Batman/Superman is technically what it says on the cover here. It was a pretty cool series. I like the whole cold villains all teamed up, like Mr. Freeze, Killer Frost, Icicle, and pretty much that's the only reason why I have interest or anything in this comic series, so that's why I picked that one up as well. Alright, as I mentioned before, the Ultimate Comics are some of my favorites, so here's Ultimate Iron Man. This is number 3. Ultimate Iron Man is actually my favorite Iron Man armor, period. I actually have one of those Marvel Legends or Selects whatever figure of his armor from the Ultimate series. If I can get a full set, that's the goal. So, another one down. Here we have Batman Sword of Azrael. This is book 3. I like the cover. I more so just, it looks like the, I guess, maybe, is it early 90s cheapness? Where everything was like a event and like collector's edition and stuff like that. So it automatically made those collector's items not collector's items because it was said, you know, buy this, it's going to go up in value, or, you know, this is a collector special edition comic, and, you know, as time went on, it turns out it was worth nothing because everyone bought it. But that's why I got this one. I mean, it was $1. Cover looks pretty cool, and then it has that really cheap border around it. So another one in the collection for sure. This is Ultimates Annual #1. The Ultimates were like the Ultimate Universe version of the Avengers. The animated movies were pretty interesting. There's definitely some low parts of this, but this is the Ultimates 2, so if memory serves, I think Ant-Man's completely out. He was in the first Ultimates team, but he was like, voted off the island. There we go. So looking forward to not reading this, but adding it to the Ultimate Universe collection. And something that's kind of cool about this as well is that it has a Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction advertisement on the back. And if you haven't played this game, this is like the precursor to Prototype, basically. It's probably one of the best comic book games ever, so highly recommend checking that out as well. This one I actually got more from my brother, but he actually keeps offloading his comics to me anyway. He's an Aquaman fan, and I thought this one looked really cool on the cover, so maybe I'll give it to him. Maybe he'll just tell me to keep it for a rainy day or something. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I like the detail on all the fish actually on the cover. So pretty snazzy cover. I like it. Not gonna read it, but I like the cover. This is not necessarily a comic per se, but this is a previews issue, which I kind of like looking at just for the historical value. So you can see what comics were really great at the time or not so great, and how the comic companies would be like, this is going to be such a great event, and it doesn't end up being a nice event or a great event or anything like that. This one has Spider-Man on one side, bonus previews of Marvel Age Spider-Man 1 and Ultimate Fantastic Four 1 and 2. So this was before, obviously, the Ultimate Fantastic Four series came out. So it's a little bit dated, as one would expect. But yeah, I'm interested to see what the times were like, I suppose. This actually was right when I was getting into comics as a kid, so it's going to be kind of interesting to look back and see what I was missing out on. My earliest memories actually of comic events was Ultimatum was being teased a bunch, but this is from this was from May 2004. This is issue 7 of Marvel Previews, so yeah, interested to see what it holds. Alright, so we're getting into the parts where it's not from Mile High Comics anymore. There is 2 more things I got from there that I'll show off real quick. Both of these are actually pretty basic. So it's a Wizard magazine. This is number 61. The art shows, I think that's Psylocke and Sabretooth fighting, so that's interesting. These were pop culture magazines from back in the day, and I don't think they're around anymore, but same thing as the Marvel Previews. I like to see what I missed in the past. So that's what this one is. This one here is also a Wizard magazine. It is issue number 63 from 1996. I guess actually to put this in perspective, this is issue number 61 from September 1996. So before my time, for sure. This was water damaged, it looks like, but I just want to read the contents anyway, so these 2 were part of the dollar bin stuff that they had, so I picked them up. I have a few already, but I'm interested to see what these hold. Alright, so the stuff that wasn't from Mile High Comics is actually right here at the bottom of my pile. So this was Nightwing number 11 from the New 52. The cover art's pretty cool. I don't actually know who this is, but I do like Nightwing, and the New 52 was kind of a home run, in my opinion, for most things. So if I can get a full Nightwing series, that's kind of the goal there. To date it, there's a Borderlands 2 ad on the back. Next we got Countdown to Mystery, Eclipso, and Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate is going to be way more popular once the Black Adam movie comes out. But I like the cover art, actually. It's a nice light versus dark dynamic there. Yeah, nothing too special about this one. I just like the cover art. Deathstroke the Terminator. This one I think was from Mile High. But yeah, Love and Death. It's issue 21. I don't know too much about Deathstroke's first solo run, so pretty interested to see how this pans out. The last thing that I got is actually very specific and kind of out of place. It is a ComicCon International San Diego souvenir book from 2017. It's got Jack Kirby on the front, it looks like, but I'm not quite sure if these are like something that comes out every year, but if I can collect all these, actually, that'd be really cool. Kind of for the reasons of, like, you know, having the full run, quote unquote, but also being able to see what happened like year by year, what was being hyped up, what wasn't. Kind of like the books I've mentioned before, but this is a pretty hefty book. It's like a full, you know, trade paperback. So yeah, it was $5, and I'm very interested to see what it has to offer. Alright, and that does it for the comic books I picked up over the past 2 or 3 weeks. Most of these were from Mile High Comics, some of them were from a thrift store, or antique store rather, and yeah, I added them to my League of Comic Geeks, whatever, website that lets you track like issues based off of like cover and stuff. So yeah, off to the box these things go. I'll crack open the Wizard books and see what those have to hold, but yeah, if you guys have any suggestions on, you know, cool covers, that's kind of like the Magneto one on the top here, let me know in the comments, and, you know, link the issues. Thanks for watching. Take care.